Hello, Psych 332. This is Laura Deffley, and I'm your advisor from the Effective Writing Center. Today, I'm going to go over the key components of your assignment directions and a sample paper that your instructor was kind enough to provide with the permission of a former student. This video is going to go over the key components of the paper and point out anything that you may need to keep an eye out for. Alright, let's get started. Please open up your directions for this assignment. Now comes the time to move out of the media and into psychological research about your theme and how your theme interacts with the media. The third portion of the Sexuality in the Media project is a 4 to 6 page paper that draws on academic research over the interaction between your theme and the media. Because your themes are so wide-ranging, the research that will have been done on how they interact with the media will vary substantially. Therefore, I am leaving the direction of this paper relatively open so that you can fit it into your research that you did. The broad question you are going to answer with your paper is this: what is the psychological impact of or relationship between my theme and the media? Now, keep in mind, it is possible that you will need to narrow your theme down for this part of the project because research tends to be very narrow in scope. Your paper must be formatted in APA style, and you must reference at least 3 peer-reviewed academic journal articles. You may also use your book as a supporting reference, but it does not count as one of your articles. Your instructor has also gone on to provide information on how to find academic journal articles, as well as a great resource, the Purdue Online Writing Lab, to help you with APA style. Now please keep in mind that this entire workshop that the EWC is providing is going to go over these skills as well. However, it never hurts to bookmark helpful links to keep not only for this paper, but to also help you with future assignments. Now that we've looked at the core requirements for this particular paper, let's open up that example that your instructor has provided. The first thing you're going to notice is that you have a cover page. In approximately the middle part of the cover page, you're going to have the title. So in this case, it is How Media Affects Women's Guilt and Inadequacy Post-Baby. Then you'll have your name. In this case, I'm a student in place of the student's real name to protect that student's identity. Under your name, you're going to provide University of Maryland, University College, because that's the institution that you're making this paper for. Then at the bottom, you'll see author note, and you'll see this paper was prepared for Dr. Karen Rain, Psychology of Human Sexuality, Psych 332. And in this case, the class number ends in C. You may need to find the correct class letter, or you just can include Psych 332. That's fine as well. So basically, your cover page will need to have the title, your name, the institution, and an author's note. So if you have any questions about this or anything else that I'm about to go over, please feel free to post your questions here or to post them in the specific thread that's about APA style. It's up to you. I'm happy to answer questions whenever you come up with them. Now, on the first page, you will see that there's the introduction. In this case, every day women are bombarded and targeted with media, on morning news shows, on the radio while driving your kids to school, in magazines, on smartphone apps, and even in highly regarded newspapers, focusing on celebrity moms who bounced back into their pre-pregnancy bodies. Seeing unrealistic post-baby body images of and reading articles represented in media, particularly magazines, cause many women to struggle with feelings of inadequacy, self-esteem issues, guilt, and shame. So you'll see at the end of that introductory paragraph, the person made an assertion, which is called a thesis statement. And so let's look at that again. Basically, they state the topic, and they've provided their stance on the topic. So in this case, seeing unrealistic post-baby body images of and reading articles presented in media, particularly magazines. So that's the topic. They're talking about the post-baby body images. And then their assertion or their argument is cause many women to struggle with feelings of inadequacy, self-esteem issues, guilt, and shame. So now what we, the audience, are going to expect from the rest of this paper is to find a discussion of and proof and evidence in support of this assertion about women feeling inadequate, having self-esteem, guilt, and shame. So as you will go through the paper, you'll see that all of those areas are touched upon, and specifically, you're going to find evidence. So in this particular paper, we're using APA to cite our evidence, and the EWC especially believes in being safe rather than being sorry when you're citing your evidence, so we will always encourage you to include the author's name, the publication year, and the page or paragraph number, even when you're just paraphrasing. So for example, in the third sentence of the second paragraph, there is, magazines and newspapers play a significant role in constructing meanings about which bodies and appearances are socially acceptable, desirable, right, or fashionable. And then open parentheses, Kaiser, comma, 1997, comma, P period, a number, closing parentheses, period. That is the format for citing information that is paraphrased. If you would rather be safe than sorry in APA style, and you want to make sure you tell the audience exactly what page number you found that factoid on. Similarly, when you have a quotation, you also need to provide that information. So the following sentence is, this form of media plays a huge role in shaping, framing, and the proliferation of certain body image ideologies. So in this case, you have open parentheses, Roth, comma, Homer, comma, and ampersand, Fenwick, comma, 2011, comma, P period, space, and then the page number, closing parentheses, and then the punctuation mark. Now you'll notice in this paper, for example, that there might be some typos, or there might not be, everything might not be perfect. That's because this is a real student's paper, and even though this paper did receive an A, it's not perfect. And no one's paper will be perfect, but this person did a very good job making their argument and using evidence to support their argument, which is why we're giving it to you as a sample. Now, you'll see, for example, that that source or that quote has 3 authors. So I'm going to share with you a little trick so you don't have to always use the 3 authors. Now, if you have 3 to 5 authors, you provide all the names once, as this person did. Then, the next time you provide information from that author, as in the bottom of this paragraph, you get to use et al. So let's jump down to that part of the paper, and it says, women's expectations and beliefs about their body, childbirth, and becoming a mother are strongly influenced by the public, private, and professional discourses around birth and parenting. Open parentheses, Roth et al., period, comma, 2011, comma, P period, space, page number, closing parentheses, period. So as you can see throughout the rest of the paper, this person can use Roth et al. To stand in for all 3 names, basically. Now you'll also notice that centered across the page and bolded are the words magazine format. Now this is a heading, and you'll see other headings throughout the paper. Basically in APA, headings are used to help break up your main ideas, to help the reader look through and make sure you have all the required pieces of information that you promised you would provide in your thesis. It's just a great way to organize. So as you scroll through, you're going to find more quotations and then more examples of using the author, the publication year, and the page number. Now, in the guilt section, you're going to notice a special kind of quote. Now, anytime you quote a source that contains more than 40 words, or 40 words or more, you are going to use a block quotation. So, to save space, because professors are onto you and they know if you're using a block quotation, it takes up a lot of space. So, in this case, the student used single spacing as opposed to double spacing because it minimizes the amount of space this particular quote takes up in the whole paper. Remember, you only have 4 to 6 pages in this paper. That's not really a lot in terms of paper length, so you want to use your space as much as possible. So if you're going to use a long quotation, unless your instructor says otherwise, I would use the single spacing here. So let's read this. When Williams, in parentheses 2013, interviewed a college professor for her study and asked why she believed CMB, celebrity mom body narratives, were so problematic for women, and she explained that, The problem is that women are not willing to share their secrets, their diets, their plastic surgery. So we celebrity women who look perfect, but most women don't stop to think about the extent to which these women have gone to look this way. As a woman, we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards, and we want people to think we have somehow achieved this great body through hard work. I think you can really hurt your body and self-esteem to expect unrealistic things like this. Why not be realistic and talk to each other about how hard it really is? Question mark. And then in parentheses, page P period 28, closing parentheses. Now in long quotations, you don't, because you have this visual, it's very obviously visually separated from the rest of the page, that quoted piece of information. Therefore, you don't need quotation marks because it's indented, and the punctuation mark, which when an in-text citation appears within a sentence, usually appears after the parentheses. In this particular case, because the quotation is already set off, it's obviously a quote, the quotation mark can appear after the words are over, and then you just have the parentheses that gives the page number. And again, if you have questions about long quotations, please feel free to ask me. I'm more than happy to explain how to format them. Also, I'm always happy to encourage you to not use long quotations. If you can use short quotations or you can paraphrase, that's going to make your analysis even stronger because you're using your own words and the paper will flow a little bit more. Now you'll see we have an inadequacy section. And again, there's more evidence spread out throughout the paper. There's another block quotation because it's more than 40 words. And then you have the conclusion section. So after you're done with the paper, you still have to list all the sources that you cited in the text. So we're going to scroll down to the references list. At the top of the page, centered, is the word references. Then you'll find the authors, last names, alphabetized, and that's how you arrange your sources. So in this case, Douglas appears before Fern, which appears before Kaiser, which appears before O'Brien, Halstein, etc. You only need to use the first initials of the author's last names. You insert the publication year inside parentheses. You have a period after that. For books and the titles of articles, you'll use what we call sentence case, which is basically how you capitalize in a sentence, where you have the first word is capitalized, and then the rest of the words are not capitalized unless they are proper nouns or they begin the subtitle. So you'll notice that there's a lot of colons. For example, the mommy myth, colon, the idealization of motherhood and how it has undermined women. In this case, what appears before the colon is the title, and what appears after the colon is the subtitle. So the in the idealization can be capitalized because it's the beginning of the subtitle. Then, for example, that's a book, so then you have the city and the state, and then a colon, and then the name of the publisher. For an article, and you have to have, remember, you have to have those 3 peer-reviewed articles, and in this case, this paper has first author Fern is an academic article, the O'Brien-Halstein article is a peer-reviewed academic article, and then it looks like Roth, Homer, and Feinwick is peer-reviewed as well. Now you'll see the title of the journal is in title case, which means all the words are capitalized except for minor words like of and a in the articles. So in this case, British Journal of Midwifery, the B, the J, and the M are all capitalized. It's italicized, comma, then the volume number is also italicized, which is 20, and then the issue number appears in parentheses directly after the volume number. It is not italicized, comma, and then you have the page range. So this article runs from 860 to 865, and you have a period after that. Because you're going to be finding your articles online, you're going to want to include a DOI number or the URL where the article can be found. So please ask me in the appropriate reference list citation thread about DOI numbers if you don't understand them. I'm going to provide some examples in that thread, but again, if you have any questions about anything, please let me know. And then, after you've listed all of your references clearly and correctly, you are done. So, just to review, make sure to answer that question that was bolded in your directions, and that question is specifically, what is the psychological impact of a relationship between my theme and the media? Make sure that you use APA format, and make sure that you have at least 3 peer-reviewed academic journal articles. If you have any questions, like I said, please let me know. I am here to help you throughout the week, and I have all of these materials assembled to help guide you through this process. But again, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please let me know, and I am happy to either answer them, and if I don't know, I will ask the professor and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.